Oh, 4 games left. It's going to happen. Welcome back to where Robbins walk. We've got 2 very excited Robbins fans here to look ahead at the final 4 games for Bristol City and the march to the Premier League. Sunderland, Luton, Leeds and Preston all stand in the way of Bristol City finishing in the playoffs for the first time in donkey's years. We're back with Ethan and Sam. Thank you very much for joining us. Sam, this is going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be our dream season, isn't it? It's got to happen. Our time has finally got to come. It's been a long, long time since we've had a good season like this. And we're on the cusp of something really good here.
Right, we'll get into that QPR results in a second. But first of all, we've got to talk about the last-minute winner Tuesday night at Ashton Gate against West Brom. Ethan, you were there. Just sum up that feeling.
It's the best I think I've ever felt at a football match. Genuinely, I think it tops Man United all those years ago. There's just something about that full-time whistle, and it just felt warm. It felt everyone was together. Yeah, it's the nicest memory I've had in football.
Yeah, I think we've got a little clip, I think, of you there at the... Let's just share this. Let's see if it works. That is, I think, 5 minutes after the game is finished, if I'm not right, mistaken, isn't it, as well? Sam, was that as good as it's got at Ashton Gate in terms of atmosphere?
It was absolutely brilliant. I mean, you know, when West Brom equalised, I thought, here we go again. But then the crowd got behind them. And then once Hayden Roberts scored that goal, Ashton Gate erupted. And I think it was still 20 minutes after the final whistle. It was like a party atmosphere in there. Absolute party.
Yeah, some dodgy goalkeeping for that goal, though.
That's because he spent the first half of the season at Bristol Rovers. He's picked up some bad habits there, hasn't he?
Right then. So it's been an amazing week, hasn't it? The feel good factors definitely there around the club, and then of course Loftus Road. Ethan, talk us through that performance. Some were saying, well, you know, you can't have everything. QPR are a decent side. We'll take the point, or is it 2 dropped in the big scheme of things or not?
In the big scheme of things, it'll always be 2 dropped, but I think you take the point and move on. It's been a really good week, like you said, and I think it was always going to happen. I think that was a bit inevitable. We were going to start slow after such a fast ending at West Brom. I thought that was always going to be the case. But yeah, I thought, you know, you stayed in the game, scored a really nice goal. And yeah, it's a point on the board in the right direction. So yeah, I'm not too negative about it, I'd say.
Okay, stay with us because we're going to look at some social media takes from that game and get these guys viewing it. Also, towards the end, we're picking our player of the season as well. So stay tuned for that. Let's have a look at some of these views then. Sam Finn says it's a point, but when are we going to agree that we are a better team playing when Mimeti and Twine aren't? Didn't really seem to have an idea on how to play when those 2 came on. And another irrelevant performance from Sam Bell, unfortunately. On to the next. Here we go again. Sam?
Yeah, I think it's a bit harsh on Sam Bell. And like I've had this argument for a couple of weeks now with a few people. I do think we are a better side without Scott Twine and Mimeti in it. Although Mimeti's goals and Twine's free kicks have won us a lot of points this season, we seem to play better as a unit without them in our side. It's a shame we can't have like American football rules. If we get a free kick around a box, we can quickly bring Twine on. He can take it and then get back off. But I mean, he spends a lot of he's a great player, don't get me wrong, but he spends too much time falling on the floor, arguing with the referee, which then obviously turns the referee against us. But we've just been playing so well without him.
When you come out though and see that Borough have lost to Millwall, Ethan, it's a bit gut wrenching, I suppose, in some way. Do you agree with that post there about Mimeti and Twine?
100%. I think they're luxury players. I don't think you can afford to start both of them for 90 minutes every game. I think they're good in spells, but like Sam hit the nail on the head with Scott Twine, I think he actually probably takes us back a little bit when he's always moaning and falling over. It's stuff like that where we want to play football and get the ball down and play quick, and he slows it down a little bit. But yeah, I definitely agree. They're luxury players.
Okay. Well, if you do get promoted and go and play West Ham in the Premier League next season, you're going to have to say a big thank you to them for giving you one of your players that's put you there. Sam, how good has Earthy been in the last couple of weeks?
Well, certainly since he's been being played in his right position and getting starts, he's come on leaps and bounds, and he's chipped in with a few goals. And a lot of the West Ham fans have been saying that's what you get when you play him in his correct position.
Yeah, it's 3 man of the match performances in a row, something like that. Now it's just phenomenal. Ethan, what have you made of him?
I think he's brilliant, and I know he got a lot of stick toward the start of the season. I think his physicality was getting targeted in particular, but his desire to run himself into the ground every single week is faultless. I think he's really tidy on the ball as well, and yeah, he's definitely a key factor to our success so far this season.
Okay. Did you shout out Max O'Leary as well, Sam? In a couple of games, he's not been peppered, but when he's been called on, he's been there, hasn't he? He's one we've hammered a little bit on this channel.
Yes,
this year.
Certainly. I mean, against West Brom in the week, it was a bit critical whether it was his fault with the goal or Pring's fault, but you can quite clearly see and hear on the replay, Max shouts keeper and Pring heads it over him. But then the 2 saves he made after that goal went in effectively won the game for us. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, let's talk about the last 4 to go. I mean, 4 games to clinch playoffs. It's just great. You're still playing for something, isn't it? Let's be honest. All right, then. So Sunderland, which could, of course, Ethan, be a preview of the playoff semi-final, the way the table sits at the moment. Sunderland visit this week, and then Luton Easter Monday, followed by a trip to Leeds and your old pals Preston inside. So how do you see them games going?
It's so tricky to call. I'd say we definitely have the hardest run out of all the teams competing in the same sort of spots. But I think if we get something at home against Sunderland, Ashton Gate's become quite the fortress for us. I think that's vital to at least a point against Sunderland. Then you want to go to Luton and get 3. Leeds is a bit of a wild card. Hopefully they're already up by then. So you never know. They might have a hangover. And then Preston should be another 3. So if we're being honest, there's a minimum 8, I'm saying there.
Yeah, those 2 home games, aren't they? Sunderland aren't playing well at the moment, Sam, at all. Their fans will tell you that for free. And Preston, well, yeah, they're already on the beach by what their fans are saying. So, if Leeds is a free hit, you can afford even to draw at Luton, can't you? And just take the 7.
Yeah, I mean, they can, yeah. But personally, I'd love to get 9 points out of them 12 and really cement our place in there and make a real big statement to the rest of the sides around us.
Okay. Is there anybody that either of you would want to avoid in that playoff semi-final?
I could see us beating it. I think the top 2's done now with Leeds and Burnley. And I think Sheffield United, both games we played them this season, we've had the better of them. All right, they did take 4 points from us, but we played them off the park in both games. And Sunderland, up at their place, we've done really well. Again, it was just a last-minute equaliser. And the proof of being the pudding this Friday. If we can beat them down there, I don't fear no one in them playoffs.
I think as well, because Sheffield United and Sunderland are both on the fall down and we're on the rise up. Chris Wilder's lost his head. I know Sunderland are falling out of Leary. That comes into it as well. Momentum plays a huge part.
Absolutely. There's always that one team, isn't there? Yeah.
This is our year. Okay. Little Bristol City in the Premier League for the first time.
There was a tweet, I didn't grab it, that said if the playoff final on May the 24th is between Millwall and Bristol City, we're going to struggle. Neutrals are going to struggle who they want to see up there because, Millwall in the Premier League would just be as batty as you guys, wouldn't it be? But we're absolutely rooting for you. Fingers crossed for Sunderland. So, we've only got 3 records left of the season. This one next week, and of course the final one as we look ahead to the Preston game. So do join us for that. Press subscribe if you haven't yet done so already. Then we're going to give these guys a summer break, and then we'll do it all again next year, potentially. The Premier League, it sounds crazy.
You're
crazy.
You're going to end up missing us for a year now.
That's right, yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Right. The club are out and about getting the Player of the Year nominations in, so we're going to try and beat them to the punch and award our player of the season on this week's channel. We haven't got Liam here, but I'm sure if he was here, I know who would be giving it to. I'm sure you two are something on the same lines. Ethan, kick this one off for us.
It's hands down Jason Knight. I think if you've got any opposing view, you haven't watched us this year. I think he's been obviously the heartbeat in the middle of the park and the skipper. That's a huge reason for where we are at the minute.
Sam?
For me, it was a toss-up between Fally Miulu and Sinclair Armstrong, but no, it's hands down, it is Jason Knight. Where we'd be without him in our side, I don't know, to be fair.
Okay.
He's a Premier League player.
Yeah, Jason Knight.
Hopefully with us.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, Jason Knight is the player of the year award here. We're also doing another little award, which is going to go to an opposition player because everything's a little bit different on here. So you guys have been to, I think, Sam, you've been to nearly every away game, if I'm not mistaken, and you've both been to every home game. So I'm looking for the one player that you wish was wearing the red and white that you've sat and watched and thought, crikey, that is some player. Of all the teams you've played, Ethan, have you got one?
Yeah, I was thinking about this, and I'm actually going to give a goalkeeper them some flowers. And it was when we went to Stoke. Victor Johansson conceded 2 on the night, but I think he prevented about 2.5 XG on his own. And it was the most frustrating thing because they let me down in an ACCA as well. So okay. Added pressure.
Yeah, I think he's going to walk their Player of the Season award as well. Thanks for that, Ethan. Sam?
One player who I really thought stood out when I watched him was that Romain Esse from Millwall. I know he's got a move to Crystal Palace now, but he was so direct and he scored a brilliant solo goal at Ashton Gate. I would give it to him, to be fair.
Okay. All right. Let us know in the comments. Be really helpful as well. First of all, who you would give your player of the season to, and I don't think there's going to be many arguments there. In terms of players staying on, just before we finish, then obviously we've done the contract discussions and so on. Do you think it hampers the kind of the planning, the position you're at? Because if you are promoted and go on, then there's going to needs to be significant investment in this squad needed, Ethan, because you don't really want to turn out like a Southampton. Where do you think the club are at in their preparations for that?
I think you've always got a plan just in case. I think even if it's quite an unlikely goal still, I think they'll be looking at that 100%. But for me, there's one necessity at the minute, and it's tying Naki Wells down for another year. I don't care if we're in the Premier League or the Championship. I think his just commitment to this football club, he's stuck with Nigel Pearson under all the kids. He got froze out of the club for a little bit. He wasn't playing games. He stuck with us, and at 34, he's still banging them in. So yeah, no, 100%. I'd bring him in 100% for sure.
Okay. Sam, I know you'd echo that.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I know a bit of inside information. I think he's signing a new 1-year deal. I mean, Naki, him and his family absolutely love Bristol, and he wants to stay whether we're Championship, Premier League, whatever. He's had a lot of interest, but he's settled there.
Okay, brilliant. Right, we will be watching. Keeping our fingers crossed for the Sunderland game on Friday, and of course Luton on Easter Monday. They themselves are desperate for 3 points themselves, so I don't think that's going to be as easy perhaps as we first think. Thank you for joining us. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in 7 days' time to hopefully get even more excited about what's going to happen. Cheers, everyone.